morning, everyone. It's an absolute pleasure to be here for a number of reasons, including I am in a room full of most of my scientific heroes, teachers, and influencers. So if I say anything that you don't like, it's kind of their fault as opposed to mine. I'm here with my UK Dementia Mission co-chair hat on that I co-chair with Hilary Evans, who's the CEO of Alzheimer's Research UK. And my day job at Novo Nordisk focuses on obesity. And there are some very interesting parallels in how the therapeutic opportunity and considerations around obesity and dementia have progressed. So both my day job and this role coincide regularly. What I plan on doing today is introduce to you what is the UK Dementia Mission, what is our focus and priorities, and how we look to partner with efforts like the UK Biobank and others in the UK to really make the UK the world's go-to place to deliver therapeutic innovation for dementia patients. So first of all, to recognize that the reason the UK can even have such a mission is because of the foundations that have already been laid here over the last few decades. UK Biobank, of course, being a global flagship initiative that demonstrates the power and the value of UK science. But in addition to that, there have been many efforts built over the last several years around population health scale data, dementia research specifically, and many other aspects. So the UK really has all the components needed from a scientific perspective to deliver scalable, globally impacting therapeutic innovation. The other unique thing about the UK, and my pharma friends may have a little chuckle in the audience when I say this, is the unique triangle of NICE, NHS, and MHRA. There is no other regulatory payer environment like it in the world, and it presents specific opportunities that other markets don't. So if we are able to figure out a way that we can align world-class science with accelerated implementation, the UK really has the opportunity to be the world's go-to place to deliver transformative medicines for dementia patients. So the UK Dementia Mission was launched officially at the AAIC, which is a major Alzheimer's meeting on the 18th of July. And that wasn't by coincidence. So I grew up in an era where year after year, transformative discoveries in cardiovascular disease were announced. The ability to intervene at scale with cholesterol-lowering medications, blood pressure-lowering medications, the ability to measure cholesterol and blood pressure at scale in populations, transformed the way we can treat and prevent cardiovascular diseases. Fast forward a decade, the advent of immuno-oncology and precision medicines for cancers, again, have transformed the landscape for how we think about finding and treating cancers. Well, this is now dementia's decade. We have the scientific tools and technologies and breakthroughs needed to truly transform and rewrite the way we think about dementia. And at the AAIC in July, not one, but two disease-modifying therapies were announced with detailed data from their respective clinical trials being presented. And these are the first two disease-modifying therapies ever for dementia, which is give you some context of where we are at in terms of kind of the therapeutic journey. A disease-modifying therapy doesn't reverse or cure or prevent the disease. It delays its progression. So these patients will still continue to progress towards dementia and its end stages, but that will happen more slowly. That's where we're at when it comes to dementia therapeutics, but that's a critical breakthrough. The other key information that was presented at that meeting were breakthroughs in the ability to find people that have dementia in the first place. And there really has been rapid progress in the ability to move away from brain scans, CSF tests, and potentially think about blood-based or digital measures that can find people that either have or are at risk of developing dementia. So those two things together really put us at an unprecedented position when it comes to dementia therapeutics. Therapies for the first time ever that can delay the progression of the disease, and biomarkers that for the first time ever in a scalable and accurate way can identify people at risk and track their risk over time. So the purpose of the UK Dementia Mission is to help realize a new generation of precision dementia therapies and solutions by accelerating innovations in three key spaces: biomarkers, clinical trials, and implementation. And I'll talk about each of those in a minute. But if we can do that, that has two specific benefits to the UK. The first, of course, is the health benefit. The NHS is suffering currently by the number of patients that have dementia that occupy NHS beds. What can we do to deliver game-changing therapies, but even better, what can we do to prevent the disease in the first place? And the second is the wealth potential. How can we make the UK a go-to place to invest and build and create new companies, thinking about dementia therapeutics, dementia biomarkers, data sciences for dementia? So those two are the key areas of focus for the UK Dementia Mission. And this slide summarizes what is our current focus. So starting from the top, and my co-chair, Hilary Evans, speaks particularly passionately about this, is being able to pass the red face test, that whatever we do has people and patients and caregivers at the forefront. That we can really demonstrate that whatever we deliver will meet the unmet needs of those people as defined by them through proactive and transparent engagement. And how can we gain the trust of patients and the public when it comes to delivering therapeutic innovation that really matters to them? Then thinking carefully about, well, what can the UK do that could be game-changingly different to what others can do? What are some unique ways that we can accelerate therapeutic innovation in the UK? And we quickly landed upon data as the key tool and the key skills that we have, as Rory just mentioned, and that we can build upon. The UK's globally unique health data ecosystem is well recognized, and it was leveraged during the pandemic in particular to, at scale and at speed, deliver game-changing vaccines and do trials like the recovery trial, and really help exemplify to the world what the UK can do when we get our data right. So we really want to leverage and build upon our data assets in the UK to deliver scalable science that can deliver impact in these three areas. So first of all, biomarkers. A key thorn in the paw of dementia therapeutics is the inability to measure things in early phase trials that can tell us whether our drug is likely to work or not. It would be analogous to developing a drug to lower cholesterol to prevent heart attacks, but not being able to measure cholesterol whilst trying to demonstrate that this drug works. We really need to expand the biomarker toolbox available to dementia trialists and scientists, and I'll come more into that in a minute. The second is clinical trials. So again, there are two unique attributes that make dementia clinical trials especially challenging. The first is screen failure. So for Alzheimer's disease trials in particular, a typical screen failure is about 1 in 40, 1 in 50. What that means is to recruit one person into an Alzheimer's clinical trial, you've screened 40, so the other 39 didn't get into your trial. They had brain scans, they had CSF taken, they took a day off work, their caregiver brought them to a clinic, and despite that, they didn't get into a clinical trial. We have to change that, and there are strategies and tactics that are data-driven that we can use to do that. The second is time to recruitment. The UK, again, through recovery and other efforts, has demonstrated we really can deliver national scale platforms to accelerate speed of recruitment. So again, what are some practical things that we can do to really deliver large scale and rapid clinical trials for dementia therapeutics? And finally is implementation. We have to ensure that the scientific innovation I just spoke of results in UK patients getting those medicines. So how can we line up NHS, MHRA, NICE, together with UK science to ensure there is a runway and a seamless delivery of therapeutics that go all the way from innovative science to patients receiving those medicines? So briefly, to add some more flavor to biomarkers, there are 4 key areas that we're thinking about: predict, diagnose, stratify, and quantify. And to do that, there are 4 modalities that we can often use: imaging, CSF, blood, and digital. So that 4x4 presents some specific opportunities to deliver new innovations for dementia therapeutics. And the UK Biobank, for example, has the ability to inform many of these. Within that, we have the chance then to inform established mechanisms that are already being pursued in clinical trials, discover new mechanisms that future medicines will pursue, and think about better ways to quantify the disease process itself. And I'll end with this, that is the kind of the research engine and the vision that the Dementia Mission is trying to create. In that purple box is our ambition. Can we create the world's largest pre-screened, pre-consented, and pre-engaged cohort of people over a certain age, let's say 60, that are at high predicted risk of having or developing dementia? If we can achieve that, and we try and recruit from amongst that into clinical trials, well, our screen failure rate shouldn't be 1 in 40, it might be 1 in 4. That would be game-changing for dementia therapeutics and clinical trials. Similarly, if we're able to dig deeper into that population, we can think about measuring longitudinal trajectories to help discover and validate new biomarkers and new mechanisms of action as well. To arrive there, what we need are nationwide and national scale resources that can identify easy and accurate and scalable technologies that can be used to identify people at risk of dementia in the first place. So how could we use genetic data, digital data, blood-based data, and routine medical records? And how can we integrate those to pre-screen people in the first place and link them to future research efforts for clinical trials, real-world evidence studies, or longitudinal studies? So I look forward to in the panel discussing more specifically how the UK Biobank in particular could help deliver this asset and this vision. Thank you very much.